research it. I kind of had an idea, because I'm a little bit, I can be with electronics, I have an idea what's good brands, but I didn't research it. I didn't check to see if it was the best price. I didn't do any of that. I just knew I was having a party in 3 days and I needed a big screen TV. Okay, would a C ever do that? Josh, would you ever do that?
No.
No, you wouldn't. You would never. You'd rather eat shards of glass than do something like that. Because it just goes against everything you are. You need to know, not only do you need to know who's got the best values, but you need to know best warranties. You need to understand what's the best picture quality. You can have all that stuff. I worked with a lady one time, you guys, we looked at 50 houses. The woman had a spreadsheet that would have knocked anybody's socks off. But she had tracked every single house we looked at. She knew all the amenities, she knew the square footages, she knew the warranties from the builders. It was amazing. And I remember looking at her going, Beverly, what do you do at night? What do you do for fun? And she was like, no, I have to have this. You know, and she enjoyed doing that because, again, we all have that little control freak thing. And all of us have things that make us want to, that we do that make us feel like we're in control. And for her, that was her control button, okay? So can any of you relate to that? Okay. My ex-boyfriend bought a truck a few years ago, and it was quite funny because he wanted to get a Dodge, but he knew the stats of Dodge, he knew the stats of Chevy, he knew the stats of Toyota and Ford, and all the major truck makers. And when I say stats, he knew shareholders. He knew information that when it got down to it, and we finally found the truck that he was going to buy, which was a used vehicle. It wasn't like he was buying a Hummer or anything huge. I was closing him, but the poor sales guy didn't know what to do with him because he was asking all these crazy questions and spouting off stats that the sales guy didn't even know. And finally, I looked at him like, is this stuff really important for you to do right now? Or do you want to buy the truck? And he was like, oh yeah, this is the one I want to buy. Okay, great, then let's do that. So he needed someone to give him that okay. That's one thing with C's, is they don't want to make a mistake, so they will data research everything to death, because they'd rather not make a mistake than make the decision and make the wrong decision. So me personally, I don't care. I'll jump off with both feet. What is that? 2 ways to jump in a swimming pool. I'm the one jumping in with both feet, not testing the water, just jump in. Okay. So that's why these guys tend not to be a combination than people that you'll encounter. Another one, same kind of reasons as C, D. D's are direct, blunt, to the point. It's all about the bottom line. What's the bottom line results? And the C's, they are to a degree about that, but they have to research it. And D will just delegate for somebody else to research it. Okay, so there's a big difference there. And also the physical traits of the D goes to the C. And lastly here is the SI. Same reasons, you guys kind of, it's a little repetitive, you kind of get where I'm going at with this. Same thing with the S. S's would never go and act like an I personality, they'd be embarrassed to. Because S's want to blend in. They don't want attention on them, okay? I have a girl on my team who's a high S, and she's a sweetheart, love her to death. She's an amazing employee. But we tried to recognize her in a staff meeting, and she literally welled up in tears. And she completely got so embarrassed. And there's 13 of us, that's it, sitting in a staff meeting. And we were recognizing her for positive things. She literally welled up in tears, and she was just, her face turned red, and you could see the beads of sweat, because she just was not comfortable with that, because she would rather blend in. She'd rather just be a part of the support system, okay? With S's, it's about the relationship. It's about that bonding that you have. They're not about the number of friends that they have. They're about quality, okay? All right, so something that's important. I want you guys to write this down, because it is not in your handouts. The average populations of metro cities, okay? I will say this caveat, if you were in New York City, you're probably going to have a little bit more personalities than you would in Phoenix, okay? If you're in LA, you're probably going to have a little bit more I personalities just because of what the typical industry is there. Everyone wants to get into show business in LA, all right? But most major cities, Phoenix included, this is what your average populations are. So if you're a D or an I, you better learn what your role is real quick and start to adapt, because the majority of the population you're dealing with are C's and S's. That's really important to know, you guys. Really important. Josh, what was that, Josh?
And it drives me crazy.
Why does it drive you crazy? Do you mind me putting you on the spot?
No, I have difficulty communicating with people who are opposite of me, because I want it this way, and this is what it's going to be, and they want to do something else.
And that's where your D personality comes
Or they
in?
want to talk a lot.
Okay.
I don't want to talk. I just want to get to the bottom of the line and move on to your next topic.
So, Josh, in hearing what you're saying, maybe some stuff we can work on even after the classes, some ways that you can adapt to what your role is versus your identity. Learning how to sort of become that chameleon and,
Empathy.
Empathy, yeah. I mean, at this point, can any of you kind of figure out, if you haven't been tested, what you think you might be? Okay. Marcy, what do you think you might be?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm a socializer.
Okay.
And I think my least dominant would either be the thinker, probably the thinker. That's the one, is that the one with the facts and figures and calculations?
No, that's the C personality. The I personality, the socializer, is going to be more about having fun, and it's, you know, it's not about details.
Okay, so the thinker would be my least,
Okay.
but my highest would be the socializer, the I.
Okay.
I think that would be the I.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Thanks for sharing. All right. So I like these quick little examples here also, because you'll oftentimes hear people say these things, even in their personality styles. Okay. I had somebody try to sell me something one time, and the person was really starting to get on my nerves because they were just talking. I'm like, I'm a salesperson. Come on, you don't need to sell me, you know? And that's one of my big pet peeves is when someone tries to oversell me. And this guy, I finally said to him, I was like, what's the bottom line? And I kind of caught myself and I sort of chuckled. I was like, boy, I really did say that. And because you find yourself, you know, you will really say that because that's something just cut somebody off. What's the bottom line? And they were kind of, I don't know what the bottom line is because you cut them off in the middle of their spiel, okay? So that's just one of those things that isn't quick. If you ever hear a D personality say that, it's like, what's the bottom line? Okay, D's are really concerned about efficiency. Okay, at work, everything's busy. They want production. They want to know what the bottom line results are. They want to know how it can be done better and bigger. Okay, they tend to be CEOs of companies, you know, military heads, you know, that kind of thing. Very forceful, not forceful in a bad way, but powerful positions tend to be D's. All right, they're the pioneers, if you will. Okay, the I, it's all about me. Okay, I love this thing. It's all about me. Enough about you, John. It's all about me. Okay? I walked into my office and someone said, how was your weekend? And they start to say, and they go, oh, let me tell you about my weekend, Ellen. It was amazing. I went to this great concert. I did whatever. Okay? So they cut you off. And sometimes I will come across as being a little bit selfish. I really do not mean to be selfish. Because if you ever said something like that, it would mean you didn't want to be their friend or you thought something bad of them. It'd be like poking them in the eye. Because they want everyone to love them. They need that, okay? They fear losing their prestige in life because it's all about who does Michael know, and is it someone Michael can introduce me to that we can go have fun with, all right? Eyes are all about having fun. Literally, you guys, my 8-year-old nephew was having some challenges in school, and I was talking to him, I'm like, hey, buddy, you know, what's going on? Why are you getting in trouble at school? And he looks at me, he's like, Auntie Sarah, he's like, I'm just not having any fun. He's 8. He's 8. All right, already, 8 years old. He's leaking who he is. He's wearing his heart on his sleeve. And I said to my sister-in-law, I'm like, I wish you'd come to one of my classes. You know, because imagine if you were a grade school teacher and you understood this. And I know it's not always possible when you have overcrowded classrooms, but if you at least kind of understood a little bit of this personality profiling, how it might impact how you interacted with the children in your classroom. And you, if you have children, it's a great tool. I mean, it's excellent. It's not just about sales. It's about building better relationships with people in general. Okay? So if you learn this and understand that my little nephew's just bored out of his mind because he's not having fun. The presentation and the information's not fun to him. And eyes will literally, you guys, eyes will pack up their things and go home if they're not having fun. I've had plenty of people quit my team because they weren't having fun anymore. They didn't want to sit down and do the stats they needed to do. They didn't want to attend the staff meetings that they needed to do. They didn't want to do their sales paperwork because they just didn't want to. They weren't good at it and it wasn't fun. All right? So it's something really important to remember. If you're working with an I personality, whether it's a buyer or a seller, you really have to rein them in. And the way you rein them in is by giving them incentive. Okay? So, John, if you do this for me and you fill out this paperwork, we'll go have a beer after we're done. All right? Yeah. Or, hey, John, you know, I know lots of people and I know you really love baseball, so I'll